Hello, good person. James here from Awaken Therapy. I've come down to the dam so you can see the lilies and the reeds here, and you can probably hear the birds that are singing. Hopefully not too distracting, but I thought, I wanted to share this beautiful environment with you to do a bit of unpacking today around emotion. What is emotion? What does it actually mean? There's lots of different ideas, interpretations, and I thought I'd unpack some of the ideas that I've found most helpful, most useful, most supportive on my journey and through my professional work over the last few decades with clients. So welcome. So what is emotion? Emotion is often described as emotion, energy in motion. And that's helpful to a point because everything's energy. And to think of emotion, it's often interpreted as the energizer, the motivator. It's the emotion we put into something that will drive us forward. So in that sense, emotion is a helpful construct. I want to go a little bit deeper than that because there's a distinction between feelings and emotion. Now, this is semantics, just labels, I guess, just words in a way. But the way I like to use those words that I think you might find helpful, I've certainly found it helpful, is that feelings describe how our soul interacts with life. So feelings is sort of like the not the noise, but the movement, the dance of our soul as we live our life on earth. We feel things in response to our experience. We get a lovely day and the sun's out and it's still, and there's a feeling of peace. There's a feeling of something a bit uplifting, a bit joyful. And so our soul is here, obviously, on the planet, as the mighty soul warrior that you are, having your experience in a body, brain, personality, in that human form, interacting with life in this weird as seeming reality of a physical universe. So we're having this experience as this spiritual transcendent being, sort of packed down, if you like, in the density of a body on a dense physical planet, having this amazing adventure and all the highs and lows that come with that. So we feel in response. Our feelings range. There's a broad palette of feelings, isn't there? That it might range from, peaks of pure love and bliss and ecstasy, right down into the depths of despair and guilt and fear and rage and shame and everything in between. There's a long list of words we could use to describe feeling. So, as long as we're here, we're interacting with life. As long as we're interacting with life, we're going to be feeling as well as sensing our body. And I've got a march fly attacking me right now, so our body's going to be feeling sensations. Our heart is feeling, our mind is thinking. This is all us as a creative spiritual being, as an eternal soul, interacting with this experience in form. And so, as I get the march fly off my leg, feelings are a constant flowing dynamic, changes all the time. It never ends, really. Obviously, we like the lighter, higher vibrating feelings, such as joy, happiness, peace, gratitude. These things, love, these are obviously more comfortable to feel than the denser vibration feelings as we go down into anger and fear and shame. So, what's emotion then? Well, emotion is feeling that hasn't been felt. So we're going through life and certain feelings are overwhelming, certain feelings are really difficult. They're just hard work, they're just very difficult to sit with. And so we jam up, we get overwhelmed, we get stuck, we suppress the feeling, and this gets blocked as an emotion. I like the way, we can use the words like this to distinguish. So are we surfing the waves of feeling, or are we resisting or jammed up? And in that case, all that force of the wave, all that energy of the wave is not in motion anymore. It's actually blocked. It's a different way of using the word, but if you think of it, emotion as stuck feeling, then it has a different sense, it has a different meaning. It's energy that needs to return to motion. And this is what therapy is so much about. It's getting into these clusters of contracted feeling and gently, safely loosening them up and allowing the feelings that are contained within the emotion to be processed. You think of PTSD, there's aspect of PTSD, there's a lot of physicality in PTSD, but you think of trauma as stuck feeling. So there's a lot of feeling that has to be processed around a certain situation or whatever's going on there. So if you think of emotion as stuck energy, then that causes a lot of issues, because the feelings we tend to get jammed up in are not the easy, light, fluffy ones. We tend to not have a problem feeling happy or joyful. We tend to want that. We tend, by definition, to jam up on the more difficult feelings, the fear, the guilt, the rage, the grief. And so emotion tends to be very dark, very difficult, very messy energy. It's by definition going to be difficult feelings, so by definition it's going to be a pretty, shitty mess to clean up. This is why most people don't do therapy. It's just too painful to go there. It's just, can't go there. I mean, there was an old saying, back in the day, and don't talk about it, you'll just make it worse. It's, as if unpacking this is going to make it worse. Well, in the short term it does. In the short term, opening up our suppressed feelings, our blocked feelings, our emotion is painful. It's not an easy thing. It's not a pleasant thing. It's always, as one therapist said to me many years ago, well, it's always a messy, uncomfortable process. How could it be otherwise? But of course, when we see something, when we feel it, when we allow it to move through, it starts to shift very quickly. It always delights me, even after all these decades, when people, go into a process of something, and, at the end of that 50-minute session, or, whatever it is, there'll be a change. Often it might just be that 5-minute portion of process we do in the session, and it starts to shift straight away. As soon as we bring loving attention, which is our creative power as spiritual beings, as soon as we bring that loving attention to something, it cannot remain as it is. It'd be like a dark room. Well, is it dark that just continues to sit there once you turn the light on? No. There is no darkness that withstands the light. It's just a relative seeming reality. Same goes for fear. You bring love to fear, and fear will always start to dissolve straight away. And these difficult ego-based aspects in our experience, you could sum them up as fear-based. So, emotion. All this old accumulated residue, a collection of old feelings that were too hard to feel at the time. Maybe we were really young and there was no support, no guidance, no explanation, no reassurance that, these feelings are normal, it's okay to feel these things and just surf them through. No. I certainly came from a family which was very Anglo, really, where feelings are not something really to be allowed or acknowledged or entertained. You tend to mute them. Any strong emotion was considered bad or wrong or something. Even the good ones, too much. Got to tone it all down. It's just a recipe for, creating a lot of stuck energy, a lot of emotion. And so your job, my job, personally, and obviously there's help available in doing this, is to go back and clear that load. And sure, we can look at the mental aspects of this in terms of beliefs, negative beliefs, and we can look at physicality, and there can be all sorts of threads connecting in different ways. If you look at the emotion code, belief code, body code work, it's really interesting. There can be attachments, there can be all sorts of things, loading into that stuckness. But when we're talking about the heart space, we're talking about feelings, we're talking about emotion, well, essentially what we're talking about is clearing that energy, safely unpacking those difficult feelings, allowing them to work through our system so that they're not holding us back anymore. This creates space. In that space, we can fill that with something better. We can fill that with love coming up, which we express to others. We can feel that love coming down that's pulling us up into higher and higher experiences of the divine. Yeah, and heal our mind. Our goal is to completely heal the mind, heal the heart, to be in a space of peaceful, loving freedom. That's our goal. And an essential big part of that, including getting rid of March flies, is healing out our emotional baggage. Everyone's got it, and that's what we need to deal with.